Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome all. And tonight, you know what? I got to say this. First, let me start off. Tonight, the Mets made a phenomenal move signing Clay Holmes from the New York Yankees. And folks, I was at work when I got the word, and I was actually I was upset because I'm like, okay, I can't communicate this until a couple hours. But I was ecstatic. This is actually the most talented pitcher I believe David Stearns has signed in his tenure. And a very creative move as such, signing him for a 3-year, $38 million contract. I mean, phenomenal, folks. Phenomenal. Turning him into, he's been an elite reliever. He would have been so nice to have last year in that Dodgers series, but nonetheless, we're going to get to use him in the rotation. And you know what? What does that signal? What does a move like this signal? Stealing him from the New York Yankees. Juan Soto looking at the team, being aggressive. New York Mets, aggressive. New York Yankees couldn't afford to give Clay Holmes that contract. Wow, that's what I was digesting. What does the Clay Holmes mean? What does that signify in the future? And to me, folks, I see David Stearns right now making all the outside moves, all the tertiary moves to make this big Juan Soto signing. The Juan Soto signing, mark my word, I believe is on the way. Word is the bidding, amazingly enough, is over $700 million, and there are four teams that are in the $700 million range. Those four teams, as we know, are the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the New York Mets. Supposedly, according to Heyman, have a bid of over $700 million or around $700 million. What I'm going to get into is why I believe the New York Mets will sign Juan Soto. And if anybody hasn't seen it, Chris Mad Dog Russo was the guy who kind of posed his beliefs. But, I believe a little of that. We're going to go over that very soon. But we got to get into this Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes, New York Mets. Like I said, I was ecstatic when I was at work and I heard the news because this is the most talented pitcher. And this guy, I'm going to call him right now, he is ground ball central. This guy is the ground ball king. Ground ball king, I mean, kind of like really the sky's the limit with this guy. I mean, we don't know how he's going to be as a starter. A guy like Michael King, a couple years ago, you take him out of the bullpen, you put him in the starting rotation. Guy's got good stuff. Why not? You be a little creative. I like it. Hey, Dan. Yep. Seth Lugo, he was a guy that, a couple years ago when he went to the Padres, when he went to the Royals, when he was on the Mets, he was a reliever. The other teams turned him into a very successful starter. And, with the starting pitching market, with these pitchers getting all these kind of crazy contracts, Luis Severino's 3 years, $67 million. As nice as Severino is, he's not worth that. He's not worth $67 million over 3 years. He's not worth it, folks. So Clay Holmes, 3 years, $38 million, essentially half of the contract that Luis Severino got. You got to clap hands and give David Stearns a bit of credit for thinking outside the box. Frankie Montas, first, real signing a couple of days ago. I didn't like it. But if you couple a couple good, strong signings, then Frankie Montas goes from your number 3 starter to your number 4 starter to your number 5 starter, which he rightfully should be. Now, the New York Mets right now, how do they stand? Well, at the top of the rotation, you still have Kodai Senga. Then you could slot in a Clay Holmes. Then you got David Peterson. Then it gets a little shaky. You're probably going to put Frankie Montas. And then you got Mr. McGill at the number 5 spot. But the Mets are far from done. I believe we're going to get 2 more starting pitching options. I believe one of those options has to be a freaking ace. We need an ace. I don't know if they're going to sign a Corbin Burns. I like us to try to invest in a top-tier talent. Are we going to get a guy like Garrett Crochet? Could we possibly be lucky enough to sign Hiroki Sasaki? Those top-tier options, we need a damn ace. We need a damn ace. No doubt about it. If you want to compete with the Dodgers, and the Mets have signaled with these moves, signing Clay Holmes, trying to get Juan Soto, that 2025, again, World Series or bust. World Series or bust. And 2025, going back, in the mid-2023, we were always aiming for this year to be the year where we go all in, all in. So you get a guy like Clay Holmes, you steal one of the most elite arms on the pitching market. And that's what he is, folks. He's one of the most elite arms on this current pitching market. What would you rather have? I mean, I wanted Walker Buehler, but, I still want Walker Buehler. But I'm thinking, as a starter, who's going to have more potential? You know what? Clay Holmes, you can make the argument that has way higher of a ceiling. He hasn't done it before, but worst comes to worst, you could always move him to the bullpen. So as an overall weapon, Clay Holmes was a home run signing. And the more you think about it, the more you love it. And if you think about it and break it down more, Yankees sitting on their behind, looking at the Mets, being aggressive. And if you're Juan Soto, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the team that you were on letting your elite closer go, and then the team that's trying to get you grabs him up? If I'm Juan Soto, I look at that. If I'm go to the Yankees, what are they going to do? They're going to give me every single last penny they have, and then they're going to penny pinch for every single signing after that. The New York Mets, we're going to make some core savings moves, but the New York Mets and Steve Cohen have an aggressive philosophy, an aggressive approach. Systematically, money is never going to be an option. Money's never going to be an option. You're going to see we're going to save money with guys like Jose Siri, signing him to center field. Frankie Montas, I still think we overpaid him, but then we save money with a signing Clay Holmes. So you might overspend in one area, but then you save money in another. And it's all, I believe, to at the very end of the day to sign the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Juan Soto. At the end of the day, I know it's a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money, folks. And that's what I've been contemplating. Is it worth it? But what does this tell you when you have every single big market team willing to go over $700 million? Every single big market team. You got the Dodgers. They're in the $600 million range. But you got the Red Sox, you got the Blue Jays, you got the Yankees, and you got the Mets. Every single one of those teams is dying, take almost $1 billion. That's telling you many things. One of the things is this guy is a transformational, generational player who will elevate the team's performance on the field, but it will also elevate the team's performance off the field. Marketing, building your brand. The New York Mets, the reason why a guy like Juan Soto is so much more valuable to the New York Mets is we don't have a brand like the Yankees. We don't have a worldwide brand like the Dodgers. If you sign a guy like Juan Soto is one of those marquee MLB players. Now, people all around the world, they associate Juan Soto and the Mets. The Mets become more relevant, and then in a couple years, international guys, they might want to sign with the Mets. Just like Yamamoto knew the Dodgers, wanted to sign with the Dodgers. Ohtani wanted to sign with the Dodgers. But in order to be internationally known, in order to build your brand, not only do you have to have marquee players, you have to win championships. And every single executive, every single person, scout, believes Juan Soto will bring the New York Mets and any other team that much closer to a championship. And that's what it's all about, folks. At the end of the day, it's about championships. It is about championships. What's up, Richard? What is up? I apologize. I'm doing a little different. I haven't done a live stream in so long. I hope everybody's able to comment. I'm seeing a few comments over here. I see Dan, I see Richard. But this is kind of like brand new. I haven't really streamed from this exact I guess, platform. So if there's any problems, I apologize in advance. I just wanted to jump on here as soon as possible. Just to say hello to you guys. I want to say thank you also on the videos. I love the comments. Thank you for supporting the videos. You guys pump me up. You get me going. So I try to, give that back to you. This is my most exciting, my favorite time of the year, the hot stove. Regardless, I feel the Mets have a great shot at signing Soto. I feel moves like, bolstering our rotation and bolstering our team, getting talented guys like Clay Holmes, I feel shows guys like Juan Soto that the New York Mets are in it to win it, that we are damn serious. We are a serious organization. So moves like this help. If you look at the New York Yankees, and, what have the Yankees done? What have the Yankees done to show Juan Soto, come over here, we are going to be the aggressive team? They've done nothing. The New York Mets added multiple starting pitchers. We've added a couple of defensive guys and a couple of bullpen guys. We have made our team better from the end of the World Series. The Yankees haven't. The Yankees haven't because they can't. They can't. So Dan, you said that you read on Facebook that Mendoza's son leaked some information that the son is going to that Soto is going to the Red Sox. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, I saw that. I did a video on that earlier about Mendoza's son. He was commenting. I forgot on which platform. I don't know if it was TikTok, Instagram, but it was some type of social media where he was talking to another fan, a fan of the Red Sox, and the Red Sox fan said he's going to the Red Sox. And then Mendoza's son goes, no, he got offered 15 years, $700 million. He has a chance of going to the Mets. So there was a little back and forth. And I don't know. That hasn't been confirmed. I don't think it's been confirmed that was Mendoza's son. But if it was Mendoza's son, you know what? He's a kid. He's a 12-year-old kid, apparently. He's excited. He loves his dad, and he wants Juan Soto on the New York Mets. So all the power to the kid. If you are a New York Mets fan, you got to support this kid. He loves the Mets. Like I said, he loves his dad, and he wants Juan Soto to come to New York. So whether it's true or false, we know the Mets. We know the Mets have an offer on the table, and we know it's a mega offer, and we know the Mets can already offer the most out of any team. So it's really no surprise there. And at the end of the day, the Mets have the most to gain, and the Yankees, really, in my opinion, have the most to lose. But I feel Cohen in this particular moment has been eyeballing Soto over the last couple years. Over the last couple years, we have been really preparing for this moment. Last year, folks, I believe, this is my heart, this is what I believe. Last year, the reason why we pulled back and we didn't aggressively approach free agents was because just like the Dodgers the year before they acquired Ohtani, they were gearing up to mega spend, just like the Mets did last year. We didn't put any long-term contracts on the book because the whole goal all along was to sign Mr. Juan Soto this offseason because Juan Soto is that transformational. And even if you just look at his WAR last year, 8 wins above replacement, usually that translates into 8 more wins. If we had 8 more wins, that's 97 wins. And if we had a couple more wins in the playoffs, who knows? Imagine we had Juan Soto and Clay Holmes last year. I can argue that we would have been World Series champions last year if we had that type of talent. But the reason we didn't get that type of talent is we didn't think we were going to be that good. The Mets surprised us, pleasantly surprised us. So I mean, this year is going to be extremely, extremely fun. Hey, what's up, Game for War? I haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully, all is well. You had a good Thanksgiving. So you're right. I'd rather have an ace and two decent pitchers and Alonso than an overhyped hitter who can't run or play good defense. One trick pony. So I gotta assume that you're talking about Mr. Juan Soto. So I got to give him a little more credit. We all got to give him a little more credit. He's a little better than a one trick pony, and he's a lot more than an overhyped hitter. I believe his career on base is 420. 420 career on base. That means that this man almost gets on base every every other time, which is insane. So in terms of him producing runs, he is great, phenomenal at producing runs. The way he works pitchers is the best in baseball. Him in the lineup makes the pitcher's job so much harder. He makes the batter in front of him better. He makes the batter in back of him better. He makes the opposing pitcher, like I said, work harder. He puts a lot of strain and stress on the opposing pitching staff. Like you got to give him credit. People compare him to Ted Williams. I wouldn't go that far, but as you can see, there's a reason why you have all these organizations clamoring for him, and there's a reason why you have all these organizations willing to give $700-800 million. They wouldn't do that for a one-trick pony and a decent hitter. He's to be fair, he's a lot better than that. And it also too, the NL these days, even in a couple of years, we have the DH. So the DH is another factor that really evens the playing field. I want to check out Clay Holmes. Like I said, Clay Holmes, he's gonna be considered ground ball central because this guy is the ground ball king. But I want to go over some of his advanced stats and stick around because I definitely want to go over Chris Russo's story, his personal story about Juan Soto and why he believes he's coming to the New York Mets without a doubt. I definitely was intrigued by that. All right, so all right. All right, folks. So this is Clay Holmes' baseball savant page, right? Baseball savant, Clay Holmes. And, let's look at Clay Holmes, break it down. What does he have to offer? So last year, all right, let's look at the numbers. He was 3-5, 3.14 ERA, 3.14 ERA, 68 strikeouts in 63 innings. Not bad. Year before that, in 66 games, 4-4, 2.86. Year before that, 7-4, 2.54 ERA. So in the last 4 years, Clay Holmes, since 2021, has been extremely dominant. Extremely dominant. ERA, 80th percentile. Expected batting average, 67th percentile. Fastball velocity, folks. This guy's got a very good fastball. He throws it almost 97 miles per hour on average. So he can really bring it. Whiff rate, 84th percentile. K rate, 67th percentile. So he can strike out guys, but he's not just a strikeout pitcher. Now we're going to go all the way to the bottom. Ground ball percentage, he is in the 100th percentile. 100th percentile. And this is 2024. Folks, if you go to 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, he is in the 100th percentile each and every year. He is a ground ball machine. Ground ball machine. So I am excited to see that. Francisco Lindor, whoever they decide who's playing second base, they are going to have to be ready. And I'm just very excited. And I think that's why the Mets are heavily, folks, listen to this, heavily considering moving Mark Vientos to first base and possibly getting a better defensive third baseman. It's possible. It's possible if the Mets don't sign Alonso, and that would only help this situation since there's going to be a hell of a lot of ground balls coming in that infield now. Now, it looks like, and I actually thought he had another pitch. It looks like he's predominantly a 3-pitch pitcher. And of course, number one pitch, sinker. He uses it 56% of the time. He has a 96.6 mile per hour sinker. Next used pitch, a slider. Slider, he uses 23%, and sweeper, 20% of the time. So Clay Holmes has some nasty movement. And like I said, he is a ground ball machine. And guys that rely and that are ground ball machines, they are often successful as starters. I could see his stuff, his repertoire translating to being a starter. I certainly can. He may, in my opinion, have to develop a changeup because him being a 3-pitch pitcher, yeah, it'll work out of the bullpen. But if you got to see the lineup 3-4 times, you're going to probably need another pitch. He's just got a sinker, a slider, and a sweeper. Probably going to need some type of changeup or another type of pitch. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see him developing 2 or 3 more pitches. But based on what he has right now, he's got great stuff, and I think it'll translate well. And the ground ball percentage is something that I'm really excited about. Yeah, and you know what? Great points. I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing great points. I see strike blitz, great point. A lot of the blown saves, and I'm going to repeat this. It was on the Dodgers scouting report. When the Dodgers played the New York Yankees in the World Series, they specifically cited the lack of range for the Yankee defense. The Yankee defense isn't as good as the New York Mets defense. You got gold glovers, Lindor. You just got a guy like Siri. The New York Mets are priding themselves on gold glove awarding defense up the middle. That's why I could see them improving their defense at third with a different player. I don't know where they're going to go, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% convinced they like Mark Viento's defense at third base. You keep hearing it. You keep hearing it. Usually when you keep hearing about them not being happy with his defense, there's something there. And I give Vientos credit because in his first year, he's made a lot of strides, but the Mets are ready to win now. And you know what, folks? I wanna jump to this. I'm gonna go back to Clay Holmes, but I want to just jump to one thing really quickly because I want to get your opinions on this. This is very, very, very important. And actually, I want to bring this on the screen as well. Where is it? Okay, so Chris Russo claimed that during a meeting with Juan Soto and the Mets, Steve Cohen, owner Steve Cohen, performed a rare symbolic act that supposedly left a lasting impression. According to Chris Russo, Soto presented Cohen. Let me read this right. According to Russo, Soto presented Cohen with the personalized gift, a rare autographed baseball from his 2019 run. The gesture, Russo argued, was more than just a simple show of respect. It was a deliberate attempt to build a personal connection with Steve Cohen. The move didn't go unnoticed. Sources suggest the billionaire owner, known for his love of art and memorabilia, viewed it as a mutual sign of respect and a commitment. Russo emphasized that Cohen values more than just a player's talent. He prioritizes relationships and shared goals. Wow, folks, the first time I saw this was about a couple hours ago when I was doing my research, and that's pretty significant. Juan Soto is a guy who's been extremely big on having a relationship with the owner of said team he's on. Had a great relationship with the owner of the Nationals. Great relationship. He loved the owner of the Nationals. I believe his name was Mark Lerner. Then he went to the Padres. Seidler had a great relationship with Seidler. Then he goes to the Yankees. And Hal Steinbrenner's there. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't talk to Soto the whole year. The whole year, Hal Steinbrenner basically has no relationship. I mean, honestly, if you're a Yankees fan, that is sickening. You have an opportunity where the guy's in your building and supposedly no relationship is started. And when Juan Soto met with Hal Steinbrenner in the meeting, he apparently brought that up. And he said, how come there was no relationship? I believe it was more of a confrontation, but Hal Steinbrenner responded by saying, well, when we did our due diligence, I heard you are a guy who doesn't like his preparation interrupted. So I let you be and I didn't interrupt you. But I would like us to have a relationship like I have with Garrett Cole, like I have with Aaron Judge. But in my eyes, if I'm Juan Soto, I'm like, you have a good relationship with those two guys. You spoke with them in the last year. You're looking for me to sign a 15-year deal with you. You had your chance. I'm going to go to a genuine guy across the street who actually cares about me, who actually cares about actually having a partnership with me. I believe Juan Soto views New York Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner as fake and not genuine, and the New York Mets, that's going to elevate them to a different stratosphere. The New York Mets and Steve Cohen are genuine, are real. This is going to be the transition, folks. The New York Mets signing Juan Soto, this is going to be the turnaround. This is going to be the turnaround. Mark my word. I love this. I love this. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. How could you not love this? All of us together talking about potentially getting Juan Soto. This is what hot stove is all about. Absolutely. I had to take off the weekend. I literally took off the weekend because I usually work a lot. But this weekend I'm off because I anticipate a move happening. It could happen tomorrow. Could happen tomorrow. People are saying a lot of big moves don't happen on Sundays because of football. I don't know what the history of that is, but you know what? Tomorrow sounds like a great day for me. So I'm ready. I am absolutely ready. Hopefully, we are all ready to celebrate having a transformational, generational player on our team. Yeah, so this is, the big thing about the rotation. So let me bring up the current rotation as we speak right now. All right, so with the starting rotation right now, and okay, and look, this is what you got to think right now. And actually, let me move that up a bit. Okay, so you got Kodai Senga, Frankie Montas, and this is in no particular order. So I know Frankie Montas probably not most people's twos, but you got Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, David Peterson, Paul Blackburn, Tyler McGill. And then obviously you got other options. Some people are saying you want to bring Jose Budo in the starting rotation. I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather the team is a lot strong with Jose Budo in the bullpen. So to me, that's not an option. Throughout the year, you can bring up a guy like Brandon Sprout. He's our number one pitching prospect. He's a guy I definitely want to see up here. But as of, starting the season, what does the rotation look like? I still think that we have two more pickups, two more additions. Now, with those two more additions, obviously, then you're not going to be relying on Paul Blackburn, and you're not going to be relying on Montas to be your two. Because that is not an ideal situation. But that's what the rotation looks like as of now. But Clay Holmes, we got a lot of value. We got a lot of potential. But I think at the end of the day, it signals the New York Mets aggressive approach to being a bit creative and showing the New York Yankees could have signed Clay Holmes. He was a guy on their team who contributed to winning, a guy who was extremely talented. It says a lot that the New York Yankees were not able to retain his services, and the New York Mets were able to aggressively poach him, in my opinion. I know he was a free agent, but still, New York Yankees should have signed or should have found a way to retain that type of talent. Okay, so what's next? Where do we go from here? We still have a lot of different questions to be answered. Pete Alonso, are we going to re-sign him? If we don't re-sign Alonso, are we going to move Vientos to first base? Then who would be our third base option? I mean, there are many different things that have to be answered, but very quickly, very cunningly, I like the way Stearns, 2 starting pitching solutions already found before signing Soto. And that was the thing. I did not, and I was hoping, please, David Stearns, do not wait for Juan Soto to sign. Be aggressive. New York Yankees, they're waiting for Juan Soto to sign. All these guys like Clay Holmes, they are going off the board. Shane Bieber, if that was a guy you're interested, off the board. Kikuchi, off the board. Severino, off the board. All these guys, Montas, all these guys are off the board. Yankees are sitting on their hands. Not a great approach. Red Sox, that's another team that's heavily involved. Their biggest acquisition was Aroldis Chapman. But I think the Mets are doing pretty good. Only team, obviously, that's been more aggressive, probably the Dodgers. And that's only because they signed a marquee guy like Blake Snell. But the Mets, I think that we're doing great. We're having a great beginning to our offseason, all going to plan. Most important thing, all going to plan. All right. I'm not really sure if the whole chat is loading, but you know what? I want to say hello. Hello, Dan, Joey, Strike Blitz, Game for More, Juan, Richard. But everybody, I hope we're having a great night, whether you're a Mets fan, MLB fan, Red Sox fan. Hopefully you're enjoying your hot stove baseball. And hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know this is our first live stream in quite some time. Thank you all for 1:20 in the morning for, hanging out. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. And if you haven't hit the like button, please, it helps out the channel. I really do appreciate that as well. All right, now, okay, I got the chat loading. Honestly, guys, I don't even care. Everybody's welcome here. I know there's many people who watch this channel, Dodgers fans, Braves fans, Yankees fans. As long as everybody's respectful. You know what? Even if the Yankees don't sign Juan Soto, they're going to be good. That's my same opinion. Even if the Mets don't sign Juan Soto, I'm confident that we're going to contend for a World Series as well. I just think, in my opinion, the Yankees need to sign Juan Soto in terms of them being good this year. Juan Soto can't be replaced. He cannot be replaced. That is the Yankees' best option, in my opinion. And if you sign Juan Soto in a couple of years, you got guys coming off the books, money coming off the books, and then you can acquire more talent. The Mets have more options. We have more flexibility. We had money that came off the books already, and we can go in a multitude of different directions. We almost got to the World Series without Mr. Juan Soto. So any addition on our team, Clay Holmes, welcome to the New York Mets. That'll make our pitching staff better. Kodai Senga didn't pitch last year. He pitches next year, going to make our pitching staff better. Brandon Sprout coming to the New York Mets, didn't pitch last year, going to make our pitching better. There are so many additions that we're going to be able to put on this team where our team is going to be better. Don't forget, Mr. Ronnie Mauricio. Ronnie Mauricio was the guy that I was excited about before Mark Vientos. I thought that Ronnie Mauricio had the ability to do what Mark Vientos ended up doing. So I am super excited that we are going to have this kid. And I know I jumped to conclusions about this. This kid almost reminds me of like an Ellie De La Cruz. I don't think he's as fast, but I think his bat, I mean, he's got a monster hack at the plate. He's gotten so much better in the last couple of years. And of course, last year he tore his ACL. So it was a big setback, but I expect huge things from Mr. Ronnie Mauricio. Huge things. No, I'll tell you this. The reason why I think the Yankees are gonna look. Okay, if I have to answer, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I think that the Mets are in a better position than the Yankees to go for the future. I think the Mets are better than the Yankees. That's my opinion. I'm a Mets fan, but the Yankees are going to be aggressive. Brian Cashman, he's on the hot seat. Aaron Boone on the hot seat. Those guys are at the end of their tenure. They're not going to reset for 2 or 3 years. They have to be aggressive now to save their damn jobs. So the New York Yankees, if they miss out on Juan Soto, they're going to try to sign other guys. It's just going to happen. They're going to have a lot of money. But, I'd much rather be the New York Mets. I mean, you got a young up-and-coming manager. You got David Stearns, who I believe is maybe you can consider this generation's, I don't know if you want to consider him a Cashman, but Cashman was 20 years ago. Cashman was ahead of the game 20 years ago. The last 10 years, Cashman has been chasing other teams. He's been chasing the Astros. He's been chasing other organizations. They haven't made the World Series for 15 years. Finally made it this year because of Mr. Juan Soto. That's why I believe Juan Soto is that much of a difference maker. If the Mets, again, had Juan Soto this year, we could have that ring on our finger. We could have had that ring of our finger, but the Mets didn't have the package last year, did not have the package. I mean, could have the package if they wanted to trade Sproat and, a couple other players, but I don't think the Mets would be willing to do that, obviously. But the amazing thing, and I gotta admit that I was surprised by this. John Heyman did report that four teams have a $700 million offer. So if I'm taking that and I'm processing it, then in my opinion, I'm like, okay, this finality of the deal has to at least be mid 700s, because where's the difference? Yankees offer 700 or 715. Boston offers, let's say 690. Toronto offers 730. Mets offers 750. I mean, you're going to have to go higher and higher and higher. If you got four teams already over 700, I mean, folks, is this going to go to $800 million? Is this going to go to $800 million? I mean, there are, I want so bad to sign this guy, but I would say the most shocking report that I saw was the John Heyman report. The fact that 7 teams are at the $700 million mark. I mean, that's a bit nuts. That's a bit insane. But what do the Mets have that makes them different? What do the Mets have that makes them stand out amongst the rest? And I believe it's one factor and one factor alone. That factor is the most aggressive, passionate sports fan or sports owner in the whole business. Steve Cohen. There is no other owner in baseball like Steve Cohen. I mean, in other sports, yeah, maybe you can find an owner, but there is nobody, and it's an uncapped sport. Steve Cohen, after seeing what the Dodgers are doing, basically gloves are off. Gloves are off. Juan Soto, I believe, is the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg, you got David Stearns right now operating from a very, I would say, fiscally responsible approach right now. You don't see the Mets doling out a lot of money, But mark my word, if the Juan Soto signs with the New York Mets, my belief is it's not going to stop there. It's not going to stop there. I believe Juan Soto signs with the Mets, makes the Mets a more attractive destination, and that's very important. You have the big star go to New York, but he goes to the New York Mets, makes that destination a more attractive location for other big-time free agents, big-time stars to sign. Not talking about retirement guys, not talking about the guys at the end of their career like we had a couple years ago. I'm talking about marquee guys like next marquee guy, Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes. All right, the Mets are serious. They just signed Juan Soto. They made a couple nice, great moves. Clay Holmes. That's a place I want to be. They almost went to the World Series last year. They went further than the Baltimore Orioles. Now the New York Mets, after signing Juan Soto, are a lot more of an attractive destination to the whole free agent class. So I mean, that's where I think this impact of this move, it has so many tentacles, so to speak. Yeah, Joey, good point. It's come to think of it, both New York teams, we missed out on Yamamoto. It just seemed like that was a case where Yamamoto wanted to go play with Ohtani, wanted to go to the Dodgers. Dodgers offered the same amount that Steve Cohen offered, and it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes these players are just going to want to go where they want to go, no matter what we do. Like Boston yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, made that outreach to Juan Soto and said, let's have another meeting. What is it going to take for us to close the deal? My perspective is, you know what? That might make the price go even higher. But if he doesn't want to sign with Boston, I don't know. What are you going to say? $900 million? $900 million. I don't want to go there. But that's why I think this price is going higher and higher and higher. You got all these teams trying to take that shot in the dark. Toronto Blue Jays. And at the end of the day, he doesn't want to go there. I believe, if from the beginning, only New York Yankees, only New York Mets wants to stay in New York. Yeah, Dan, I see you got the lineup. The lineup, top five. You have Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso if he signs back, Soto, Vientos. I mean, the Mets from June on last year, we had a top offense, no doubt about it. Vientos, I mean, the guy came on, Lindor came on, started playing like an MVP. The Mets lineup, I believe we need the two bats. You need, obviously, let's say you sign Alonso, then we need that additional bat. We're still missing that additional bat. We thought we had it last year with a Martinez, but Martinez fell off in a dramatic way. We still need that additional bat. Vientos, you could say, oh, well, he came out of nowhere. Doesn't count. We need an additional bat to make ourselves better. Juan Soto would be a crazy additional at bat, but then you still have to sign an Alonso, or you still have to sign the other bat, or else then you kind of go nowhere. You're staying in one place. So you need two bats. Juan Soto and Alonso, or Juan Soto and, whoever the second bat would be. And I kind of see in the chat, about Steve Cohen, why hasn't he really opened his wallet? I mean, last year we had a payroll of about $360 million. And the reason why it was that crazy high is because we had incompetent management. Billy Epler and, past front office executives put a crappy, we made a lot of crappy decisions. So going forward, David Stearns and this front office is going to be a lot more strategic and opportunistic with their money, a la the Dodgers. The Dodgers right now, despite having some of the best players in all of baseball, aren't giving out dumb money. The Mets are trying not to have dumb contracts. They have Lindor on the books for a long time, and they have Brandon Nimmo on the books for a long time. other than that, there aren't really long-term contracts. So the Mets are in a very good position to start from scratch. If they want to have contracts set up where they defer money, they can opt to do that. But the Mets can be very, very strategic and put themselves in such a good financial position going forward. I think, frankly, it's genius. Instead of living for the moment, they're living for the moment now and in the future. You know, it's easy to think about today. It's a lot harder to think about tomorrow. So, you know, the Mets have done that in 2024 where they developed their talent, but they kept themselves in such a good financial position to make a splash this year. And that's why I still keep counting on the Mets to sign Juan Soto. Steve Cohen, you know, this is his chance. This is his chance to flex. If the Mets don't get Juan Soto, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. I'm going to be extremely disappointed because there's no way, if you're Steve Cohen, that the Blue Jays should be out beating you, the Red Sox. And in my opinion, Hal's got $1 billion. Steve Cohen's got $21 billion and counting. You know, Steve Cohen made $8 billion while he was the owner of the Mets. And the Mets, they have been an unprofitable venture. So he made no money with the Mets, yet he's $8 billion richer in the span of 4 years. This is a very successful man and a guy who knows how to make money. That contract that he gives Juan Soto, he will make that money back in 6 months, folks. He will make that money back in 6 months or probably less. Probably less. So don't you worry about how much money he gives. And in 10 years, this mammoth of a contract will look a lot better and will probably even look like a bargain. And, you know, it might be hard to think, but look at the Lindor contract. 2-3 years ago, everybody was thinking, oh my God, $34 million. Stupid contract. He's not worth that. Now, as 3-4 years goes by, now everybody's saying, oh, Lindor, two-way player, $34 million, shortstop, plays a prime position, has a WAR of 6 or 7 every single year. That's a value contract now. So times will change. Nice.
Report accurate. All right, let's get into that. Look, I can't tell you whether that's actually Adrian Mendoza or not. Some internet sleuth claimed that he told somebody that they've offered $700 million for 15 years. I think it's in the ballpark for all those 4 teams. I think that is not a shocker. I think that's where we are now. You know, I think he's going to set a record unless by chance. And at this point, the Dodgers are probably the long shot in this. If by chance he says, you know what, I'm not so interested in an extra 30, 40, 50, 60 million. It's not a big deal to me. I want to go to the best team. So they're still in it as far as I know. Obviously, he's probably got a pecking order. He's got the strengths and weaknesses, the pros and cons laid out in front of him. And he certainly knows at this point, you know, which are the top 2 or 3 teams. But this is an unusual situation because normally you don't have 5 teams fighting on really equal ground. At least 4 of them are on equal ground.
See, that's like the one thing I'm still having trouble with, how all these teams, like 4 teams, $700 million, $700 million, and even the Yankees are supposedly over the 700 million mark. They are over, and that was the thing that a couple weeks ago I said that if the Yankees were able to make that type of offer, that would differentiate them. But was that the I think that the Yankees are maxed out. I think the Yankees right now, the New York Mets have found the breaking point. What is the breaking point for the New York Yankees? I don't think they're going anywhere higher than where they are right now. They are done. I think they were done, $150 million ago. But right now, they are done. They put their hands up saying, you know what, Juan Soto, we made you our best offer. And that's why I think Steve Cohen right now, all right, we're in $700 million range. If it's going to take 750, 760, that's where I think we're going to see. We're going to see a mid to upper $700 million contract. And you know what, folks? Maybe $800 million. Because if it's really true and all these teams have a confirmed offer of over $700 million, it only makes economic sense for this thing to be pushed up higher and higher and higher. And how high is too high? It's already too high. So let's not even think about being fiscally responsible, because we're already making a contract where the guy is really not worth it. He's not worth it. We're just looking for the future, and it's only a couple teams who can afford it, but nobody can afford this contract more than Steve Cohen. And I think I feel that a decision is already made. I feel so damn confident that he's going to the Mets. I'm probably setting myself up for a big failure, but I just feel like it just makes all the sense in the world. Everything he wants is in Queens, New York. Everything he wants. And Yankee fans are like, why would he want to go to the Mets, who don't have the legacy, who don't have the brand, and leave the Yankees? Because there's so many different reasons. Right now, the New York Yankees, it's Aaron Judge's team. It's Garrett Cole's team. They're going to be there for the next 6, 7, 8 years. Juan Soto has an opportunity to build the brand of the New York Mets by building his own brand. He has a chance to win championships, to build his legacy. His legacy winning in Queens will be that much greater than if he won in the Bronx. This is the best place to win, and he's got the best owner to do it with. Steve Cohen's showing him right now, Juan Soto, if you come to Queens, we're going to continue to be aggressive. And that means a lot. Red Sox, Juan Soto is going to be the move. Yankees, the move. Mets, goes to the Mets. This is going to be one of the many, many moves. All right, folks. So I think we pretty much covered like where we currently are, the Clay Holmes signing, the Juan Soto update. So what we're going to do here is, if you're new and you're watching this for the first time, thank you so much for giving this channel a chance. I really do appreciate that. We appreciate you. So hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for this weekend. Like I said, I did take off, so stay tuned. We're gonna try to jump on as things happen. I think a lot of things are gonna happen, but tonight it's 1:40, and we pretty much have everything covered as of this moment. I thank you so much for sticking with me right now. It really means a lot. You make this fun. You really do. So thank you again. I'm gonna say good night right now. Everybody have a great night. And again, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Have a great night. See everybody tomorrow.